Hey everyone, at Dawn here again, and I'm back with another installment of the Bits and Pieces. You know what I do here, I talk horror and horror news, so let's get right to the articles. Our first article comes to us from movieweb.com. It was written by Jeremy Dick and it was published on July 3rd, 2019. The headline of the article is, New Friday the 13th sequel script has been written by the Jason Lives director. Let's get into it. Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives writer and director Tom McLoughlin is so eager to direct another installment of the franchise, he's already written a screenplay for the next movie. This would not be a terrible idea for fans, as Jason Lives is one of the best installments of the movie series. My personal favorite, in my opinion, probably along with Part 7. I love the entire franchise, but those two stand out to me as my two personal favorites. Everybody has their own, but 6 and 7 are my two personal favorites. The movie is notable for resurrecting Jason Voorhees following his death at the end of the fourth installment, the final chapter, because fans were unhappy about the lack of Jason in the next movie, A New Beginning, which was Roy Burns, or was it Tommy Jarvis? Paramount kind of screwed that one up, but that's a discussion and a topic for a later stream or later episode of the Bits and Pieces. Let's continue on with the article. Then Paramount went on to sign McLoughlin to bring back Jason however he saw fit, resulting in the highly beloved sixth movie. Fast forward to now, and McLoughlin is hoping to capture that lightning in a bottle once again. He was speaking on the podcast The Pod and the Pendulum. McLoughlin spoke about his desire to helm the next movie and finally coming up with a new take on the material. I finally came up with the formula for what I wanted to do and things about 6 months ago and wrote the screenplay, McLoughlin said on the podcast. He adds, and now I'm stopped dead in my tracks with the lawsuit with Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller, so it's like I can't even show it to the studios or anybody. The filmmaker stopped short of divulging any plot details from his written screenplay, but stresses that it presents something new while maintaining the Friday the 13th vibe. That lawsuit that Tom McLoughlin speaks of refers to the one that seems to be a never-ending lawsuit between original screenplay writer Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham's company Horror Inc. While a judge previously had ruled in favor of Miller last year, the decision was appealed, stuffing it straight back into the court systems. While it was possible for the two sides to have come up with a settlement and end the illegal drama, any such developments have yet to happen. And at this stage, if the appeal from Horror Inc. fails, the next step would be trying to take it to the Supreme Court, and there's no guarantee they would be willing to hear the case. Now, that whole thing with the court case, I mentioned it on the previous episode of the Bits and Pieces. I talk about it all the time on my weekly stream, Don's DLC. Like the article states, Victor Miller had won the initial judgment by a local circuit court where they originally had contended the decision. The court case was going on. Victor Miller won that. That was their opportunity. That was their opportunity to come to an agreement and to come to a settlement where they could have went on and started planning the next Friday the 13th movie, because we need one. That was around the time when the game was still big. The game, Friday the 13th, the game, came out on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox in 2017. In the summer of 2017, it was a huge hit. That was the time that the iron was hot. That was the time to strike. But unfortunately, Sean Cunningham decided to appeal it, and it's back in the courts. And according to Victor Miller's legal representation, who is actually Larry Zerner, who played Shelley in Part 3, Friday the 13th Part 3, the one in 3D. Now that it's back in the court, it could be there for over a year, up to 2 years. So don't expect any movement on this anytime soon, unfortunately. I want it to happen, but I don't think we're getting a movie anytime soon. The article goes on to say it's a shame to see Jason rotting in development hell while the rights to the series are still being sorted out. Given the success of last year's Halloween and how much anticipation there clearly is for another Jason movie, just like I said with that video game. It was a huge smash hit. New fans that had never even watched a Friday the 13th, a younger audience, came to the franchise and they poured over the material. Not just the game, they watched all the movies. They learned everything they could possibly. That was the time to make the movie. And it would seem that millions of dollars are just being left on the table. And they really are. There's a ton of money there to be made. They could have made a lot of bank. They missed their mark. With 2020 marking the 40th anniversary of the release of the original picture, the timing is perfect to finally release the next picture, as it's been a full decade since the release of the last installment. We're now in the longest stretch of time there's ever been between Friday the 13th movies, and the last one would have been 2009's the reboot, not Michael Bay, Platinum Dunes. He was associated, but it was more his production company, Platinum Dunes remake of Friday the 13th, which was okay Derek Mears was really good at Jason, but other than that, it was kind of lacking. And before that, it was Jason X and Freddy vs. Jason, if you count that as a standalone Jason movie. Anyways, and it's nothing short of a bummer not having the slightest idea as to when the next entry will finally arrive. But for now, Friday the 13th fan films will, Never Hike Alone, mentioned that on last week's stream, and the one that's coming up is Friday the 13th Vengeance. That's a new one that's coming up. Slash and Cast do a great job of covering that. That's another YouTuber, another horror YouTuber. You should check it out if you haven't seen them. Will help keep Jason fresh in the minds of horror fans until the next official movie can be released. Whether it's from McLaughlin or another filmmaker, what fans want most of all is just to see Jason Voorhees back on the big screen, and this information comes to us from The Pod and the Pendulum. So there's another shout out for Up the Pod and the Pendulum. Anyways, that's it for this article. Tom McLaughlin has written a new screenplay for Friday the 13th. And hopefully we get an update on the legal situation soon. I said I was going to cover this more, and I'm going to do it as much as possible. Let's get to the next article. For our next article, we go back to bloodydisgusting.com. It's a usual here. This article is written by John Squires, and it was published on July 1st, 2019. And the article is, Bruce Campbell clarifies that upcoming Evil Dead video game is for consoles and PC, not VR. There's a picture there of Mr. Campbell in the car. There have been many rumors about the future of the Evil Dead franchise in recent months, but one thing we can 100% confirm is that a brand new Evil Dead video game is coming. Back in August of last year, you may recall, we originally broke this tidbit of news when we sat down for an interview with Bruce Campbell, who teased, they are doing a video game, a whole immersive kind of dealio. I'll be ash for that because I wouldn't want someone else's voice hamming it up. That's awesome news. Let's get on with it. Taking to Twitter today to clarify what he's been saying about the game, Campbell has now made it clear that this isn't a VR experience, but rather a game for console or PC. Campbell tweeted today, hey groovy gamers, this is a swell time to clarify some incorrect info that might be out there, including from me. The upcoming Evil Dead video game is developed for PCs and consoles, not VR. Sorry for the confusion. Game on. Over the years, Campbell has voiced Ash for multiple Evil Dead video games, including Evil Dead, Hail to the King, Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomsticks, and Evil Dead Regeneration. So there's the tweet there from the Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell saying the same thing. Hashtag my boomstick is too big for VR. Hashtag Evil Dead the game. But yeah, I'm still excited about this. Even though it isn't a VR game, I had heard about this recently, that this game was coming out and that it was confirmed that Bruce Campbell was going to voice it. So I will still check this out. I will still play this game. But I can understand the disappointment that it's not going to be VR. But we seem to have an update. Any more news on this? You come right here. You'll get it from me here on the Bits and Pieces. And that's it for this article. Let's get on to the next one. Here's the next article. It comes to us from dreadcentral.com, written by Josh Millison, published on July 2nd, 2019. And that is, in addition to 2020's reboot of Ju-On, The Grudge, is it getting a TV series on Netflix? There's some nice haunting eyes for you from The Grudge. Let's get into the article. The J-horror classic Ju-On, The Curse, is directed by Takahashi Shimizu, launched one of Asia's most prolific and successful horror franchises, not to mention an American remake, The Grudge, which was okay. It was pretty good. Ju-On, though, 2 thumbs up. Great horror movie. Love Ju-On. We've known for a while now that another reboot is in the works, directed by Nicolas Pizzi. From a screenplay he's co-scribed with Jeff Bueller, targeting a January 2020 release. But today brings word that a Ju-On TV series is coming down the pike at Netflix. A landing page was discovered for Ju-On with the following synopsis. The J-horror classic franchise Ju-On was actually based on real events that occurred over 4 decades. And the truth is even more terrifying. Ju-On is classified as a Japanese TV show, meaning it's being produced in the franchise's home country. Besides that, at the moment, we know nothing. We know nada. Damn straight, we'll be checking our eyes peeled and keeping our eyes peeled to see what develops. Stay tuned to the dreadcentral.com. Thank you for the article, but stay tuned to the Bits and Pieces as well, because I'll definitely cover this story. I want to see that Ju-On remake and the reboot. I don't know about this Netflix series. I don't like a lot of Netflix original stuff, but it's being made in Japan, and it could be true to the source material, so I'll probably check it out, because like I said on previous episodes of the Bits and Pieces, I'm a horror fanatic and a junkie, and I'll probably give it a shot. So check back often for Ju-on Grudge related news as they emerge, and thanks to our friends at Bloody Disgusting for their eagle eyes in spotting the item. And I use Bloody Disgusting all the time. I credit them for my articles because they've got some great horror stuff as well. But that's it. Ju-on the Curse, the reboot's coming. We already knew that. If you didn't, there's some news as well. Reboots of Ju-on the TV series and the movie. You're going to have a reboot of the movie franchise and also a TV series on Netflix. So that's it. That's a quick one. Let's get on to the next article. Our next article comes to us from darkuniversehorrordatabase.com, published by Nick Bond on July 2nd, 2019. And the article is, Corey Feldman hopes the CW will bring back the original Frog Brothers in the Lost Boy TV series that the CW is working on. Let's get into the article. The CW network recently announced that their upcoming TV series, The Lost Boys, is being reworked, recasting all but 2 roles. Co-stars Medallion Rahimi and Dakota Shapiro are still on board to appear in the show's pilot episode. Corey Feldman, who starred as one half of the Frog Brothers in Joel Schumacher's original 1987 film The Lost Boys, hopes to return with Jameson Newland in the new series. Corey Feldman went on to tweet on June 30th, at Jameson Newland, are you thinking what I'm thinking? CW's The Lost Boys series starts over, recast roles, and reshoots new pilot. And he goes on to link the TV web update stating that it's being redone. The synopsis of the show is, welcome to sunny seaside Santa Carla, home to beautiful boardwalk, all the cotton candy you can eat, and a secret underworld of vampires. After the sudden death of their father, 2 brothers moved to Santa Carla with their mother, who hoped to start anew in the town where she grew up. But the brothers find themselves drawn deeper and deeper into the seduction world of Santa Carla's eternally beautiful and youthful undead. The pilot episode will be directed by Catherine Hardwick from a script by Heather Mitchell. Stay tuned with us to keep up to date to all news regarding the Lost Boy TV series and with the bits and pieces, because I'm a fan of this series and Near Dark as well. I know some people prefer Near Dark, but I am a fan of the Lost Boys as well. That's it for this article. Another short one. Let's get on to the next one. And for our last article of the week, we go back to bloodydisgusting.com. This one is written by John Squires and was published on July 2nd, 2019. This is more of a sales article, like an ad, than an article, but I had to talk about it because I love Godzilla and Kaiju. This year's Halloween collection from Ruby's includes an epic 3-headed King Ghidorah mask. There it is right there, people. Like, that is awesome. That is just awesome. I need that. This Halloween season, the Halloween season is already fast approaching, and one of the big movies that'll be represented in stores like Spirit Halloween this year will be Michael Dougherty's Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is getting a collection of masks, costumes, and decorations from Ruby's. Included in this collection is this insanely cool deluxe edition King Ghidorah mask. It goes on to say how much it's going to sell for, and yes, there's even a full-on Ghidorah costume for both kids and adults. Yes. Thank you. Godzilla's back. I love that movie. A lot of people didn't. The box office, it didn't do too well. It was definitely a mixed reaction to it. That's a great Godzilla flick. It's all you could ask for. Great effects, way better than the 2014. Anyways, let's get on with it. Other King of the Monsters goodies from Ruby's includes a Godzilla deluxe latex mask, a Godzilla inflatable costume, deluxe Godzilla hands, and a King Ghidorah wall breaker. Here we go. There's the Ghidorah mask. There's Rodan, a mask for Rodan. Oh my God. And there's an idea of the thing. There's the inflatable Godzilla. There's some of the masks, the claws. Oh, so good. And that's supposed to be Mothra. That doesn't really look like Mothra. That's why I hesitated. I wanted to read it. But anyways, that looks epic. This is what I wanted to end on. A pet costume. Put your Chihuahua in a Godzilla pet costume. And the wall breaker, that looks sick. I might just get that because you don't have to wear that. You can just use that as decoration. There's a Godzilla wall breaker. Man, I have way too much fun with some of these last articles. Anyways, that's it for this article. And that's it for this week's of the Bits and Pieces. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, let me know in the comments below. And while you're here, please leave a like on the video. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel because it'll only continue to help my channel grow. I'll be able to bring you more horror content, and I will be back next week with more. As always, I'm your host, Dawn. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon.